Appreciate you having me out. I'm filling in for my CTO, Jack Moffett, but I am his co-founder and CEO of Linked. And I'm going to talk about shipping with agents. Going to touch on Claude Code, OpenClaw, which I'm sure will be, a very relevant topic throughout this conference. But yeah, just want to share, my experience with my company and just how kind of software development has changed internally for us. So let's see. Cool. Quick background on our company. We're basically split into kind of two functions. We have Linked FDE, which is our forward deployed engineers, or like kind of AI services. This is very much applied AI projects. So training models, building agentic workflows for business use cases. And then we also have our go-to-market platform. And this is kind of like a Claude Code like agent, but built for kind of finding and monitoring leads. And so we have our platform as well as our API. And then we also have a layered service on top of that product. But essentially what I want to share is just kind of how the past 3 months has changed, largely with the updates to Claude Code. But one kind of thing I'm going to highlight here is one of our engineers in the past 90 days shipped 235 merged PRs across 7 simultaneous projects, so against our forward deployed engineer work. And then our revenue is on track to double month over month. And this is largely just to attribute to the kind of gains we've gotten from Claude Code, the harnesses we put around it, and the kind of this new project management workflow, kind of how to, manage projects in the age of Claude Code, which I'm going to touch on. So quickly, to kind of reiterate the problem with traditional software services, or just services in general, you have this traditional loop of ticket to plan to implement to review, then to PR. And this is typically like a 2 to 3 day sprint. And you're typically have one project per developer. You don't really want to max out like their bandwidth and have them split in attention. And yeah, you can't really compete with like larger teams, right? Like historically, more devs, you can get more done. This is almost kind of changing though, where smaller teams can produce more now that we have coding agents that are really good. So to quickly give an overview of our stack and kind of what has made us, what has just made our shipping velocity go through the roof. Obviously, one is Claude Code. Some people might like Codex, which I'm hearing great things about as well. But yeah, Claude Code, Opus 4.6 is used throughout our org. We buy everyone the Max subscriptions. We have 7 developers, and everyone is kind of mandated to use their Claude Code Max subscription. For project management, we use Linear. And we have, you're able to just MCP into Linear via Claude Code. So we kind of use Linear as the brain or source of truth, but devs can just access all that through Claude Code. We also are big proponents of Granola, just a really good note taker app. And especially when you're meeting with clients, you can essentially build this workflow of Granola to Linear to Claude Code automatically, where they're kind of saying, what's missing in the product or what's missing, or kind of like scoping out a feature with you live. And then, with AI, you can pipe that into tickets and then into production code. And then the last thing that we're really excited about in our stack is our new product manager, Edward OpenClaw. And he essentially does the scoping for us now and ticket generation. So he's actually living in our Slack. We have just a channel for like, product management. And he's just like a user in our Slack, which is pretty cool. And I'll get to that in a minute. So I guess I'll start first with our tech stack with Claude Code. So one of the kind of main things that shipped or is really getting velocity in 2026 is skills. And this is essentially kind of building like a repeatable pattern for Claude Code to kind of plan, implement, and ship. So rather than these long prompts you have to type out every time, you can kind of have these saved skills within Claude Code for personal use or throughout your org, which kind of like helps you get some regularity throughout your org if you have these save skills. So I'd highly recommend checking out Claude Code skills. Another big thing within Claude Code is work trees. So this is essentially how to get like 4 or 5 Claude codes working together in parallel. And, obviously that is going to increase your output. Big warning here is it will eat up your tokens, so you'll hit token limits much quicker. But again, you'll just produce, way more features on much shorter timelines with work trees. And then to dig in a little bit more to how we're using Granola, I'll do a quick case study with a client of ours, MPL. Essentially, it was this kind of long enterprise sales cycle. So, tons and tons of calls with this client, got tons of information. And then anyone who's gone through kind of this enterprise sales cycle knows there's not much actual dev work. There's a lot of talking. And then you kind of need, like, once you get to that contract stage, you kind of need to execute those specific implementations. And by running Granola in our meetings, we had all the requirements saved and then already ticketed for. And then it was kind of just clicking a button and letting the coding agents implement those requirements. To dig in a little more to linear as our source of truth, this is, again, like, it's high level for our engineers, but it's really for Claude Code and giving it kind of that brain or like sanity check to reference when it's doing like legitimate project work. So yeah, ticket quality is a foreseen function. So like a vague ticket is going to make Claude Code confused. So, it makes you, it kind of forces you to be even more uptight about your ticket writing. I know some people don't love it, but you need really clear requirements and context for Claude Code. Let's see. Cool. Yeah, to dive into our product manager agent, Eddie. Scoping was a huge bottleneck. Like, essentially, Jack was scoping tickets and kind of feeding that to, devs, assigning different tickets to devs. And this has just been like a huge unlock by having OpenClaw with access to Jira, Granola, etc. But essentially what Eddie does is monitors for tickets and sends updates to us in Slack. And he'll ask us clarifying questions. He'll generate fully formed linear issues with specs. And then, yeah, he'll scan for unscoped issues and auto-generate plans. So, yeah, this has been a big unlock. It's gotten Jack a ton of time back each week, and would definitely recommend giving this a whirl. Just to give you a quick image of like Eddie in our Slack channel. Here, I'm just like posting a bug I noticed from our platform. It's actually funny. Edward gave it the like eye emoji to let me know he saw it. And then said, got it, I'll scope this out tomorrow morning. Looks like a quick email template update to link directly to the signals rather than generic homepage. Yeah, and then this is super exciting, obviously from a technical standpoint, but also just like anyone running a company, there's tons of upside to figuring this stuff out. One thing I will touch on is the traditional hourly model doesn't work super well. So that's something we're figuring out and would, like to talk to you all about. We're considering billing for agent hours. We're considering kind of just shifting to retainers. We've had some success with both, but I think that's kind of a big kind of open problem. Anyone doing kind of AI service work, if you have like these really in-depth agent harnesses and are super productive, you don't want to hurt yourself with hourly billing. So yeah, that's something we're actively thinking about on the business side. Couple quick lessons or things to avoid. So to start with OpenClaw, very easy to get excited, get them hooked up, give them tons of queries and rip through like 50, $100 in your first day. I have $50 written down the first 24 hours. I think we went through a lot more than that. And I was using Claude Sonnet. What we ended up doing is switching over to Kimi K2, which is an open source model, much smaller, out of China. It's not quite as intelligent, so I did notice like some tasks failing that were previously working with Claude Sonnet, but I forget the exact cost reduction. It's something in the order of like 90% cost reduction though, compared to Sonnet. And then, yeah, I guess just kind of the last note is garbage in, garbage out. A lot of this is just like context management, ticket quality, kind of what you're feeding these agents is kind of the output you're going to get. Yeah, quick takeaways. Start with skills, not agents. Linear MCP is a huge unlock. Record everything. I like granola, but whatever note taker you might use, record everything. Match models to tasks. So yeah, obviously I'm sure most folks know different models are good at different tasks. If there are simple tasks that you just need a workforce model for, would recommend checking out Kimi K2. I also like Gemini Flash or Gemini Flash Lite. And yeah, I think that's all I got. But happy to connect later. And you can find me on LinkedIn or X at Reid McCrabb.
Good times of questions.
Yep.
What is linear? Is that a version control system or that's something different entirely?
Is it a what?
A version control system? Is it like
No, it's do you know like Jira?
yeah, for like ticketing?
Yes, exactly. It's like a newer version of Jira, a little more modern, like more kind of MCP support and support for Claude Code skills.
Why do you want an MCP over just like giving it API keys and like interacting with API later?
You could do either. Yeah.
What's the point? Well, why go MCP over an API?
I think it's just like a little more built for agents to interact with. I don't have a strong opinion one way or the other. I think it's honestly just easier to get it set up and running with MCP to start. But yeah, I don't have a strong case for API versus MCP.
And then for OpenClaw, why use OpenClaw rather than just like set up to like pull an agent that get created or to listen for webhooks Slack events? Like, what's the difference between OpenClaw and just coding your own?
I think the case is deteriorating for OpenClaw. Specifically, Claude Code just came out. I think they call it loops, the loop skill, which is kind of largely what OpenClaw seemed to be, is like these kind of cron jobs you'd set up or heartbeats you'd set up, mixed with kind of really easy access to like different data silos. So yeah, I mean, if you want to bring like a custom agent, I think OpenClaw, like out of the box, pretty easy to stand up. And it kind of builds itself, which was really cool. But yeah, that's just kind of what we are testing right now. Yep.
How accurate would you say the granola to linear is, like ticket building, in the sense of that Claude can use them one-to-one, like one shot?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I would say super accurate. Like we'll have a human review, obviously, and edit it. Yeah, we're not at like fully autonomous. But yeah, we want to get to this point where we can kind of do like these customer interviews on our platform or on our services, and yeah, just have it like the agent, kind of prioritize this feature's been mentioned 3 times, pipe it into a ticket. But yeah, I mean, granola transcription super accurate, and then as long as the context isn't like nuts, Claude can typically drill it down into tickets pretty well.
Do you have the OpenClaw look over it as well as you have the human in the loop still, or is that something you're teaching it, or is it just human in the loop right now?
Yeah, the OpenClaw will look at it and like do a first draft and then send it to us in Slack, and we'll just kind of edit or approve based on what we get back.
How do your developers use agents? Do they just have like multiple tabs or multiple terminals running, or is there some strategy around?
We actually, so like many folks, we had Cursor, and then we kind of just started running Claude Code in the terminal, and Cursor just kind of became our IDE without really using like the AI features. We recently switched over to something called CMux. It's super cool. Essentially just makes it easier to like manage multiple products or projects rather at once. So you just kind of have like these different instances of projects and just like Claude Code running. So it's kind of like one terminal, multiple projects, and without kind of like the AI fluff that we weren't really using from Cursor.
But they're all like independent instances, right? They're not like orchestrated between each other.
Correct. Yeah. Yep.
Well, one, can you go back to the last slide? But two, are you guys running into like memory issues? I mean, I'm probably one of the lesser technical people in here, but I've been using Open Cloud for the past like month, and it can barely tell the date and forgets that it's in a PDF.
That's been one of my biggest frustrations is I'll tell it something or give it an API key or something and it forgets a day later, specifically when you go down to like dumber models. I've been noticing if you explicitly tell it to save it or like where to save it to, it'll have better luck. But yeah, it seems like not inherently like if you just tell it something, it'll forget if you don't explicitly say, remember this.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I do have that API key.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
For each part of your pipeline, for the tools that you're mentioning, are these cogs that you've replaced over time? And on the second part of it, do you have to pay for the enterprise plans, or do you, I guess, where do you fall with those services with how they offer a base tier free? Or do you having to pay for each of them in part of the pipeline?
In terms of like linear, granola, all that stuff. They're pretty cheap. I mean, yeah, granola is like maybe $20 a month per head. Claude Code, I think, is the most expensive, like $200 for the max plan, and that's across 7 developers. But I mean, the value we're getting, like if we were just paying the API key, it would be orders of magnitude more. You know, like if you pay that max subscription, you get a lot of value in terms of tokens. Linear is nothing crazy. I think it's like 14 a head, maybe.
I saw they both had enterprise plans. I was just curious if you were bumping into anything that made you go that route then.
We're not on that yet, but I'm sure we'll get targeted soon by some internal sales folks. But yeah, thankfully not quite yet.
What does Linked AI do, and what's your service?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, we have the kind of the forward deployed engineer model where that's kind of like custom AI services. So like training models for companies, building AI workflows. But we're more so focusing on the go-to-market space. So a lot more of our service work is like standing up voice agents, different stuff like that. And then we also have our platform, which is kind of hosts these agents that find leads for you and monitor for buying intent signals. And then also like an API you can build on top of. So kind of this blend of product, service, work that we're doing.
And I saw that you are pricing agents into the model where you say you get so much credits.
On our platform.
How does that work, and what's been the reception in the market, like saying?
Yeah, so it's interesting because it with like an AI platform now, it's different from traditional SaaS, where like our main costs are tokens. So we need to like pin token usage somewhat to the user. So we basically have built this like credit unit where it's largely just a markup of tokens. But then we tie those to subscription levels because just we realize like kind of the consumer mindset can't, or they're just not used to like just paying for credits. Like they would like to know like a monthly subscription tier. So we have these different kind of credit allotments priced into like starter, pro, enterprise. Yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. And in terms of the group, you have sounds like 7 really technical people that if you put Eddie in the chat, that's OpenClaw, y'all know it's a bot. But in your FDE side of things, if you were going to deploy this for a company that was mostly non-technical people, would you still try to personify that? Or for the inferiority complex, still make sure it looks like a bot, so it's not.
Like if we were to push this to clients, would we act like it's a human or an AI? Basically, we would tell them it's an AI. Yeah, it'd be too good. Like it'd be too good to be a human because the response.
Mainly in the human picture is my point. Even like a robotic avatar or something.
Oh, I got you.
Y'all tech, you get it. It's not obviously Eddie.
Yes, I got you.
You're deploy that to an enterprise of 1,000 humans who are not technical. There's more hesitation. That's the question.
I would probably go, it would probably be like their decision. Like you kind of can get a sense with some companies. Like I've had people like go like Greek god names for their agents. Like I think it just varies. I personally don't love the humanizing of the AI. Like I kind of like to keep it something separate. So Edward wasn't my choice. He just kind of appeared in Slack one day. But yeah, if it were up to me, it'd be like a little robot or something along those lines. Yep.
On the ticket creation, what will this provide so that it creates like the Jira tickets so that the developers can work on? Like usually on the Jira ticket, there should be like what needs to be done, how much time is gonna be take to be done, and all of those things, right? So you said you guys replace that with agent instead of guys doing work. How is that? If a task is going to be done in a day or a week, how is it agent determining that?
I got you. Like how does, so specifically for ticketing for like time expectations from the developers, I mean, Claude takes a good guess based on, like Claude is really smart and can kind of understand how long a ticket should take. And then again, we have a human reviewing. So like if we're asking some crazy feature from a dev, or Edward is rather, Jack or myself will make an adjustment before posting that ticket.
When you're building a feature, do you have like, do you make it go through like a planning section, or do you guys just start hammering in questions, or how do you build a new feature? What's like the best strategy?
Yeah, so we do have we'll typically have some back and forth within the Slack channel. So like the agent gives a first draft, and it obviously has like some context of like how we like tickets already. But yeah, there will be like a little planning session back and forth via Edward and us.
I have a question related to running the company, I guess, more. Currently, and I mean, you know this, right? You get a max plan and you get basically subsidized tokens right now. I have a friend that pulls at least 20K every month out of his $200 plan. I chose the route of building local.
Okay. Open code.
Silicon and everything at home, and just running it that way, just because I guess I come to that point is, what do you do when that falls away? What do you do when that $200 plan falls away and you have 7 developers?
Can I ask more about what is your local setup, if I may ask?
3 Mac Studios.
Dang, that's awesome.
Yeah, well, I think right now it's still cheap. I think half a year from now, it's not going to be that easy to run local anymore. But that's exactly this point that I'm running into, right? Like,
Why do you think it will get more expensive to run locally?
because everybody will want to run local. The small WEN models are just so good right now for small jobs.
But what's the price that's going to go up? The Mac Studios or?
Yeah, I think the M5 will be a lot more.
Okay, interesting.
Just wondering, you're running a company, you have 7 devs on a max plan. Just what is kind of?
I would prefer to be doing what you're doing. That's awesome. But at the same time, like your friend who's getting 20K value out of it is not every user. Like I think the analogy I saw was like a all-you-can-eat buffet. Like there are some people that kill them. Like our org is, on that as well. But there's probably also half the users inactive. And then, yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're raising a lot of money. I think that'll continue. I'm not like worried about Anthropic as a business. But yeah, I think that's an open question. I don't have a super strong opinion on it. But I think that's super cool. You run everything locally. Yep.
So you more of a technical. So you said you have 7 devs and what was it? One of the devs merged 250 something. Is that?
Yeah, that was our CTO. Yeah.
Given what he's done and what your team is doing, is anyone reading the code that's being generated? Is someone actually clicking the button that says merge to the? I'm assuming you use GitHub, right?
Yes. People are still reading the code, but I would guess that goes away this year probably. Specifically with like the CMux editor we're using, it's like not easy to actually read the code. It's kind of just like these instances of Claude Code. So Definitely for like our clients and everything, we're still reviewing code. But yeah, I guess would anticipate that going away this year. CMUX, CMUX. Cool. Any other questions? Yeah.
In terms of the code being posted in repos, do you have any services that hit it afterwards to look for attack surface concerns and what was actually published? There's a few that I've seen of it, but
Yeah. What are you seeing?
I don't know how to pronounce it, but the SNCC, SNYC, SNYK, I gave it access to a GitHub account and they started telling me all kinds of shit.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Let me know, patch up.
Yeah. I saw Claude Code also push like their own version. There's kind of this meme going around like, why didn't it just write good code the first time? I'm guessing we'll implement that. We've tried some different stuff. We don't have like a super solid system built out there. So yeah, I don't have a lot to speak to there.
Yeah, I guess it's just the concern being it was pushed into production when you look at it, if nothing changes. And of course, more, but I think Anthropic found how many bugs people in Firefox recently just with one little task. So
Right. Yeah.
there they can look at your repo and continuously give updates when you were just forgetting about it, working on the new client. That's where the runs at.
Yeah. No, I think that's something we should spend more cycles on for sure.
You guys think that open models are going to be more important as time goes on?
I'm rooting for them. Like I'm rooting for open models and running them locally. I would love to just have like our local super cluster of OpenClaw agents, like just running our company. I think that's like a likely outcome. It does seem like the AGI level models are going to be closed source. So if you need just, super intelligence, you're going to be still pinging Google or OpenAI. But definitely for like the workhorse models, I think, local open source will be good.
More questions?
Cool.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.